thing is kind of the curve of these. It's sort of, there's not really anything specific I can tell you about coming up with that. It's just kind of coming up with a nice curve that you like. Nice smooth.
Do you have any more curves over in the other building? Take a cost?
Well, there's one up in the loft.
Because it'd be nice to do a curve too, like on a garbage bag or something, or a grocery bag.
Yeah, I can go grab
So
it.
you can get that curve. So, or you can simulate it from the skis that you got, or
Yeah, I mean that's
the skis that are sitting here.
So you're saying just to have an existing shape of the curve?
Yep, that you like.
Yeah, I mean as soon as you take these out of here, you could just flip that on a piece of paper and draw that curve, and then you get a block of wood at home or whatever, and cut it to that same sweep. If you like what you did. And then this position, I don't know, Mark. Do you have any intelligent things to say on this toe crossbar where that positions? I just kind of use it where it is.
Well, it all depends upon the length of the ski. You want to try to get, a good inch, surface area. That thing really needs to be screwed in tight because it's taking a lot of pressure. What is the length of your ski? And you can take a straight edge, like this, that's flexible, or a little thin piece of wood or whatever, and what you need to do is you need to measure, okay, so what's the length of your ski to the thinnest part that you want to bend? Or what is the length after the shovel? To the tip after the shovel. So in other words, wherever the ski hits the deck. You make that measurement. And then what you do is you set this on here, and then you bend it. You go, okay, well, it's 10 inches. Well, I need to, I can catch it here because I can feel the tip of it. Make sense? So there, from there, you can trace out on a piece of paper. Oh, I want this kind of curve because I know I need 10 inches. Or you can take what you drew on a grocery bag here in the class, and you can go, okay, so here's how it is. And then these are nice. Other ways to do it would be
we leave with our skis. We don't have to have a.
these stay here.
I know, I understand that.
There's somebody else's mold. So
you don't need to build one of these at home just to rest over the winter.
Good.
Throughout the summer.
Okay.
But in the event that you do want to build a home,
Gotcha.
that's
Okay. I just
part
didn't
of the
know
discussion.
why this discussion was going where it was going.
Yeah.
To build our home.
It's from the edge of this block to this point here where it comes out of that end sweep, the shovel, is roughly the same distance from the tip of your ski to that lowest point where we put the screw in on the scribe. So it'll be kind of the thinnest part of your ski there. And then the middle bend, the camber bend, is clamped just behind the midline that we put on there. So the midpoint of the ski. And so that block is just screwed in there. And this line here on the leading edge of this block corresponds with the middle line of the ski. And then the back block, the very furthest back block, is the far end of that block is the very back edge of the ski. And then this bending point here is about 5 inches in from that. And then as for camber, that's probably another thing Mark has more to say about. Seems like generally it's kind of 1.5 inches or so. And again, with wood being so a natural material and willing to move after you've already bent them, there's room for play there. If you don't get the camber you want, if there's too much camber or not enough.
Do you usually lose camber or gain it?
You would lose a little bit taking it out of here.
Okay.
And then that depends on what kind of ski. Like I think we made some skate skis last year that had like 2 inches of camber or something.
Depends upon your weight.
heavier person with the ski, but seems like kind of a common thing is 1.5 inches or so. And go from there.
So what is the math for that? Like the weight, the height? Is there anything specific?
I don't think so. That's
No
That's
ready
what it-
formula other than about 1.5 to 2.5 inches. That's why you ask your weight. It's easier to take camber out than to put it in, and so you can always clamp it and reduce the size.
I see.
I don't think you need to go over 2.5 inches. That's getting to be too much. The other thing is sometimes if you make it too deep, it can make the whole ski like a bow,
Right. Yeah.
and it's like, whoa, it's too high, and then it might be hard to bring down that stock after the foot platform. But not impossible. It would just mean like you put a really stiff piece of hardwood on top of the foot area and clamp that down rather than just a little pad of wood. You always want to clamp these things with a wood pad so you don't crush the wood and make an indentation on top of the ski. So there's another thought there.
out is a flexible ruler like this, so you can measure the distance, to this edge of this block here, and that way you can transfer that line to your ski, and then so when you're laying out the rest of this, you know where this is going to actually fall. So if you just have a straight ski on here, it's hard to know where that sits on here, so that you know where to put the rest of this. So that's how I started, just measuring that, putting a mark on the ski, and then lining that up with the edge of there, and then putting a mark where my midpoint is, and putting a mark where the end of the ski lies, and then shifting blocks around. This is about 3/4 of an inch down. That's usually what we go on the tail to bend up.
That was 20 minutes.
Any questions? That's about all I have to say about that. Screwed in sideways.
Yeah. We should fix
Some of you remember how they were. Don't drill them back down in, because then that just
when we get
tears
a chance
out
here,
more of
we can
our
break the action.
stock there, but screw them back into the sides of these. And then the molds can get... Well, actually, we're going to bring the molds over to the red building right off the bat, huh?
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
We
so
got,
once
we
you
got
get
the-
once you get your skis out and those things screwed back in, if you would bring it over to the red building, I'll go over there and get up in the loft, and if you just hand them up to me, we'll get them all put away, and we won't have that to do at the end of class.
I can get up in the loft too if you want to
Yeah, I hope you
check
will.
on your guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's the next step, I guess.
Cool.
Taking them out, get rid of the molds. And the other thing too, though, I guess if people want to, before you haul the mold over there, if you want to take the measurements off of your mold, you can do that too. Spend a couple minutes, and if you want to try to recreate it when you get home.
it wouldn't take long.
Yep.